Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 25th RNCI Red Nation Celebration, actually, RNCI Red Nation International Film Festival. And we are very excited with our guests today, our filmmakers, for the Red Nation Indigenous Filmmakers Lounge. It's the conversation series, and we have a spotlight today on the film Kiss the Ground. And our guest filmmakers are Josh and Rebecca. And I want to let everyone know that Kiss the Ground is nominated for Best Documentary, and it's on the red road to gold. And the Red Nation Award ceremony will be held November 29th, and you could get your ticket at rednationff.com. And the wonderful thing about the award ceremony this year, because we're online, there's limited tickets. So there's only a certain amount of people that will be able to get into this. And it's not going to be live on Facebook. It's going to live on our Red Nation television network. So you want in on this, you got to get a ticket. And we're going to start rolling all of that information out shortly. The Red Nation International Film Festival has 105 films, 73 documentaries, 35 directed by women, 12 student films, and 10 experimental, all from the US, Canada, Italy, Greenland, Australia, Mexico, Ecuador, France, Iceland, New Zealand, and Greece. And so I'm going to introduce to you now Josh and Rebecca, directors of Kiss the Ground. Hi, Josh. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello. Nice to see you. Thank you for having us. We're very, very honored to be here.
This is amazing backdrop that you have outside. It's gorgeous. Yeah.
In November.
It's a hot breeze, and every time we have a hot breeze, we get a little nervous and
little fire.
Pray to the fire gods.
No, it's all good. We're all good. We're all safe and sound and healthy and well.
Yes. Well, we're certainly committed to that. And that also is what Kiss the Ground is about, is how we can help indeed prevent those types of things from happening.
Exactly. So, you know, and it would be, and this leads into your film, the fires, for the fire departments and the government and everyone to really look to our Indigenous peoples for how we take care of our land in regards to dealing with fires and preventing them, prevention of the fires. So that's a good thing.
I mean, it's amazing how it's
very doable
practices that actually is something that we can do as mega fires become more of a concern and in the news more and more. There's a huge opportunity for us to, you know, bring back ruminants and create these beautiful firewalls and start really putting this permanent agriculture in place that will help not only grow food, but help sustain and regenerate our whole community in the land here.
Well, I want to let everyone know that's watching and that will watch this, is that when I saw Kiss the Ground, I got so excited. Like, it's my favorite film. I started researching, like, who are the producers, who are the directors, who's the executive producers, and I found out that, you know, family, Anna Getty, you know, contributed to the film, and then Rosario Dawson was in it, and then, you know, there's just, and then my friend Deborah Anderson, her film won last year, Women of the White Buffalo, and so there's some kind of connection there as well with her godmother, and it just was lending itself to screen at our festival. And one of the reasons why I got so excited, I'm telling you, I have told everyone about this film. I know it's screening at our, you know, streaming at our festival, right, online. But I also let everybody know that it's on Netflix, because it's all good.
No, but, you know, we have something in your festival that isn't anywhere else right now.
Right. And that's going to be announced tomorrow, and we're going to upload that tomorrow. And that is the educational part of Kiss the Ground, which goes deeper into our native lineage, into rejuvenating the earth, our original mother. So that's going to be amazing when we'll put that up on the site tomorrow. But I just want to get into the film, because one of the key things that excited me about this film was that when you're watching it, I mean, it's so well put together, and just every single segment. Are you guys good?
Sorry, we're just about to lose power on this
Okay.
laptop.
Are you getting a power thing?
Yeah, she's just making sure
That's
it's
okay.
plugged in.
Okay. So the one thing about this, hey, it's rock and roll, man. It's what it is.
We're live.
We're live.
Children
It's a pandemic.
make it at some point. It's quite possible.
We're all doing the best we can. Okay. So the one thing about this film is that what got me so excited was that, and I'm still so excited about it, is not only how well it was put together, and it wasn't like, okay, part one, part two, just the whole, how it could be very problematic in a way of telling the story, like, here are all the facts. It was so engaging. And that comes from the directors, that comes from you too, Rebecca and Josh, how you, and the editor, how you stream the whole thing together. And the fact that you're using different language to reach everyone, I feel is the key, and how exciting this is. And the language is rejuvenation, right? Regeneration. See, I'm dyslexic, so it makes sense.
But rejuvenation
I
is
think rejuvenation
also
is a synonym.
It's
a
symbiotic
synonym.
to that.
It is?
Same meaning.
Well, when you
Okay.
regenerate, you are also rejuvenating. It's actually, in a way, it's like more heightened, more healthy. Before we can even get to rejuvenated, we have to regenerate, because we're so
Okay, so regenerate. So it's regenerate to get to rejuvenation, right? Okay, so those two words are key in, especially going forward with our next generation, in educating them, right? So tell me about the film. And here's some questions, like, what wild, inspiring, was it because you were parents and you wanted to do this, or came up with this, or how did this inspiration come about for you to make this movie?
Well, we've made a few environmental films. We made 14 environmental films. This is the 14th one. Rebecca and I have both been involved in agriculture in different ways. She's how many generations?
Our kids will be the 7th generation
farmer. Yep. And I had been involved in biodiesel, driving the veggie van around the country in the 90s with unused cooking oil. So ended up getting, sucked into the world of what agriculture looks like in America. And I think we both came from different perspectives, but we both realized the importance of the soil. And the movie is really, it's about honoring the soil. It's about loving the earth. It's about giving back to the planet in a way that we haven't really talked about in the film before. There's been a lot of problems that we've explored in our environmental films, and other people have explored with environmental, there's this environmental problem, there's that. But just a film just about what it means to honor and cherish and love and caretake Earth. Earth has two meanings. It means the planet that we're on, but it also means Earth, the soil, the stuff that you can pick up in your hand. And a lot of people had to convince us to make the movie. It wasn't our idea. We didn't see a pathway for making a movie on dirt. We didn't see that as an interesting film.
We did, but we weren't sure if other people would feel that way.
we always say, like, we can make anything interesting in a movie, but
even dirt. I think we've actually said that before.
Yeah. But I think
put it to the test.
I think people are ready. All people around the world are ready for a message of love about Earth. I think people want to love Earth. I think people want to love again. I think it's been a hard year. It's been a hard time for a lot of people, and people's hearts are hurting. You know, they're ready to reconnect with nature, reconnect with the big mama, and have that Earth, heart, love, spirit energy again. And at its core, the film is about us reconnecting our humanity and the gut bacteria in our guts and all of the bacteria that are actually making our bodies run with the bacteria that are in the soil. Right. And realizing that we're actually not different than the soil. We're one thing. And it's because we've separated ourselves in this very Western model of, you know, I'm a man and you're a woman, and that's, you know, the earth, and we can spray the earth with chemicals and tear it up and rip it apart and build things on it and never think about how that affects us. And I think this year everybody's thinking about health. We're all realizing, like, oh wow, we're not very healthy as a society. And maybe Kiss the Ground is meant to come out now, because maybe it's time for us to think about, wow, our health has to do with the planet's health. And if we're treating the planet poorly, then how do we expect to be healthy? And of course, some disease is going to try and wipe us out, because that's the way nature works. When things aren't healthy, you know, a disease will take care of it. So I think it's about coming back to realizing, like, green, alive, happy earthworms, plants, lush microbiomes, bacteria. That's all the good stuff. That's the stuff that we want. And I think that's a universal message for all cultures and all people. And maybe, you know, maybe some of us white people in the Western world, we're a little slow. Took us a few extra 1,000 years to get that concept, but I feel like people are ready for it.
Yeah.
I mean, my family, they were soy and corn farmers. So, you know, and our kids are going to be regenerative farmers. So I think it is that time right now for us to all do.
So are there any t-shirts that say regenerative farmers? Because that would be really great.
You know what? I think somebody should go off from this Q&A right now.
Go make them.
Make the t-shirt and post it on Facebook so that we can all order a t-shirt.
Look, I think everybody's going to want that t-shirt, because I think when people realize that farmers who are regenerating their soil are truly the superheroes of the world. You know,
so let's make the t-shirt, and the proceeds will go to you and to our Native youth that want to learn traditional ways of life, of planting, regenerating.
How about anything that we did?
The nonprofit organization.
Well, we want to create some versions of the film that are translated into some Native languages. We feel like that would be
right. And we've spoken about that. And I need to put you in contact with some people that can hopefully, I think, will definely run with it. I that's what I would if I were them. So, you know, so. Oh God, I should have wrote down, because while you were sharing, Josh, I got really inspired. Okay, when you were making the movie and you were out there, because you have a lot of celebrities on it, and you have a lot of farmers on there, right? And the collaboration of both energies, I know they weren't at the same time but the final end piece, when everybody saw it, like, what was the impact for them? Everyone that was involved with it. Like, I've listened to Woody Harrelson and how he felt, and Ian, all that, but I would like to know what the farmers, once they saw the film, what their response was for their input in it.
Yeah, I mean, we've had over 1,000 requests to screen Kiss the Ground on farms. So I think that is a resounding indicator of the fact that farmers, they know that they're on a pathway to bankruptcy. That's no big surprise. You know, we know that it's being propped up by a broken system. and they know that. And so I think that this is all about finding common ground. I mean, that's been one of the most challenging things in this project is, you know, people from all different spectrums of the regenerative movement finally coming together. And so we've been really seeking that message where it doesn't matter where you fall in the political spectrum or who you are or where you are, that you're going to be able to, you know, relate somehow to this film. So it's been a huge challenge, actually, getting everyone onto the same page. And so for our team, at the very end, you know, to finally have this film out in the world and now know that it will be, the education cut will be shown to 30 million kids, grades 6 through 12 in 114,000 schools for free. And that biosequestration and drawdown, and for the first time in our public schools, we're going to be teaching how we can reverse climate change, like a real pathway for that.
Right.
I think that for us is the most exciting thing, because there's been real pressure on us to get this message out in a timely fashion, but also in a way that really does the job. Like we wanted to make a film that's worthy of this message. And so I think it's just a huge relief now to know that it is starting to shape the conversation. And the Telegraph had an article come out in the UK last week that said that the film Kiss the Ground is beginning to change the global narrative around climate change. And so I think that's great news, because we've been so paralyzed and we've been so stuck around this fear that we're facing as the planet is desertifying.
Right.
So, you know, how do we reverse that? What's the pathway forward? And this is where we have been stagnant. And now, you know, it's not like regeneration is some new idea, but I think the global concern for how we're treating our land and desertification is of new interest. So to be able to now look back and see, wow, there are these regenerative techniques where we can take all of that extra carbon that we're so worried about. And not only can we put it in the ground, we can put that legacy load of carbon in the ground and begin to see global cooling, but we can also take desert and turn it back into the type of land that it was before we came in and messed it up. And we can create nutrient-dense food that at the end of the day, the farmer is benefiting from this regenerative system in a way that there is no system like that presently happening, you know, right now. And that's what we have to do.
And you know what, there's a lot of different things I want to tap into just really quickly. Okay, for an example, when the pandemic hit, when COVID hit, within 6 weeks, when people like had to isolate and stay home, the skies cleared up. The waters were clearing. That was only 6 weeks in, right? So you can imagine if all of us really, when you watch this film, everyone, Kiss the Ground, I can 100% guarantee you will be inspired to get a part of putting your hands in the earth and digging up those creepy crawlers, because when we're in ceremony, we pray about those creepy crawlers. We love those relatives because they're important to us. That you get in there and redo it, re-earth it, replant it, relove it. Yeah. And, you know, Josh, you brought up the gut, our gut. And, you know, I'm 63 and I've been experimenting with, I know, look at me really weird.
I know, I don't believe it.
I am, and I have 3 grandbabies and 2 kids, and yeah, but I've been experimenting with my gut, right? Because there's foods I'm allergic to, and I know a lot of people are allergic to a lot of different foods, right? I rarely eat processed food, and so it's been quite a challenge for me, and I know it's because the earth is being sprayed and all of those chemicals that go in. And then we, you know, even the tree, the gorgeous lemon tree that grows, and we grab it and it's like, but we have to eat. And even I tried something. I didn't eat any rice. This is a good thing. I didn't eat any rice for months and months and months. And I tried rice and my stomach swelled. And I told my chiropractor, this is just an example. And he said, yeah, because that rice comes from out of the country. It's harvested where there's oil spills and all of that. Then they have to put a lot of bleach in it, and then they send it back. So we're eating bleach.
Yeah.
So I would suggest buy wild rice from Winona LaDuke's farm. But that's regeneration, right? That's loving
Just
the earth.
thinking where we're getting our food from. I mean, I think that this is one of the questions that COVID has brought up is, you know, we start to see our role in the bigger system, and maybe, you know, getting food, like often we don't think about whether this food that we're eating is in season right now or how far, you know, this food came from. But, you know, just since COVID, like we've gotten to know our neighbors. We're trading, you know, fruit that we can pick for their quail eggs, and people are starting to have this more simple way of life. And I think that that's something that is really needed right now. And
It's very doable.
like you were speaking of earlier, and we have to go back to our roots, because that is how we are what we eat. You know, like if
we are
bugs on the food, then we're killing our gut flora that we need,
right.
that digests our food. It's how we absorb nutrition. And so, and those chemicals were really designed to kill. They were designed for war and for killing people.
Right.
And
right.
so, you know, the idea that we had that somehow it was a good idea to spray that all over our food was not, I would say, our brightest moment.
No.
But it's too late for us to change the way that we're doing it. And, you know, I think, you know, looking at our relationship to our food and how our food is affecting us is something that we've really been, you know, we're all affected by that.
You know, what I'm really excited about this film is that it's because the next generation gets to see and learn a whole different way. Like I know, like my son just visited this weekend, and he was brought up in both my kids in Waldorf school. So they plant, they're in the earth first thing in the morning, you know, instead of like getting grades, they're like chopping from the garden, learning chop, you know, the food, and that's very powerful. It's very powerful because then those young minds and souls grow up, they retain all of that. That's their learning process, right? Even if they may go into processed food, they come back to what they were taught. And that's what's magic about this film. And that's what's really extraordinary about our traditional ways of life, is that to be connected to your roots.
You know, Waldorf schools, Waldorf Schule, you know, that was all developed by Rudolf Steiner.
Exactly.
He was a mystic. You know, he lived in Bavaria, and he was considered non-scientific at the time. But he said, you know, the power of the child is that they are connected still to the spirit world.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Steiner developed a very beautiful chart, a planting chart. It's a circular chart, and it reminds me of the 4 directions. You know, when you could overlay his chart, you know, he didn't have contact with Native American peoples, but if you looked at the mysticism that he sort of was talking about, he was talking about organic agriculture.
Yeah.
But based on the turning of the seasons. Right. And the creatures that that appeared in the seasons. And so, you know, if potatoes had blight, you didn't spray the potatoes with chemicals. You found the bug that was the blight, and you would crush that bug up, and you would put it in a fire, and you would take that burnt bug, and you would create a mash, and that's what you would spray on the potatoes with water. So everything came from nature. Everything went back to nature. His whole model was cyclical, and you know, he's where I got my start in agriculture, learning about a lot of this stuff. So it's look, wow. All the good stuff is connected across time, across space, absolutely. Across cultures. I think these big realizations, the big ones, you know, all of us, we all have atoms in our bodies of everyone who's ever lived, and so in some ways. You know, the microbes They're in the soil, they're in us. All of our atoms come from before, and we really are just one big living thing. And I think that's one of the most powerful messages that we got from making the film is a reverence and understanding that, we're just this little blip in time.
Yeah.
And the earth is probably the thing that is the most consistent in this, journey.
Absolutely.
And we don't revere it very much in our culture, certainly the way I grew up, not nearly enough.
I think that this process has definitely brought me great reverence in a way that I mean, actually 7 years ago, we met Chief Arvo Lichtenhorst. He came here to Ojai and we got to help produce a short film about him. And he was sitting here and I was pregnant with our daughter, Athena. And I remember hearing, I could hear the translation of the Lakota of the history of the white buffalo half pipe and the white buffalo woman and white buffalo half woman.
Yes.
Thank you. And Arvo opened my eyes to the sacred hoop of life. And that reverence that he shared with me for the buffalo. And then shortly after, we started working on this project. And we were really open to where we could make the biggest difference. We just truly wanted to be of service to Mother Earth. And I know that sounds like hippie or woo-woo or whatever, but we were calling in, where could we do that? Where can we make the biggest impact? And so then Arvo's here and he's teaching us about the buffalo and the sacred hoop of life. And shortly thereafter, Standing Rock happened. And so I think we just got a real education around how especially the buffalo helped to shape America. I mean, and how the Lakota, Nakota, Dakota people lived with the buffalo, how the fertile topsoil that basically built America was created this way, and how people were living in harmony in the land this way, and the nutrient-dense food that was created this way. And so, and then how, my ancestors basically came in, and it didn't take very long to rip up that topsoil. And then we had the Dust Bowl, and then to learn that part of that was a way to control the land was to move people, how did they come in and basically take over? It was to kill the buffalo. I mean, that was really, that's one of the moments in the film that we have in the film, the feature film. And I think that, I think that really has touched a lot of people that we were all working on this film. We had a longer version of that section actually that we ended up putting in the education cut. So it'll be on the Red Nation Film Festival site and people can see it there. And then it will also be available in schools.
Starting in January.
Starting in January. Yeah, but I think that it's just, it's not that this is new information.
No, it isn't. It's how you two directed this movie. That's the whole thing. It's about you two.
Well, it's the single biggest thing that we can do to reverse climate change. And somehow we got to be the lucky people that help try to spread that information to people. And I know that this is just the beginning of the conversation for most people, but I think that this really is the beginning of a movement. And, it's been, I think it's been an eye-opening journey for us and one of hope. Because when we had our first child, that was it was a scary moment to think about bringing children into the world and what it was for their children and grandchildren. And so I think, thank goodness that we can start to practice these regenerative ways and begin to heal the earth and ourselves on it.
Yeah. Well, I just, I really adore both of you. I respect both of you. I love this film. I know your other films, Josh. I love them too, but I love this film. I want you to know that. And I personally, on a personal creative content creator, director, I want to let you know that this film is one of the most important films that has been made. It will last forever because it's a timeless film and it's a consistent film. It's a living film for generations and generations. So to me, you know, you may say, oh, well, you know, it may not be native. It's not native directed. It's not, you know, native this, it's not native. And to me, it's 150% native. Why? Because we're dealing with the original mother. This is a film about our original mother on native land. This is native land. And this is a native film. And I support this film 100%. It's the most important film that we have out this year. And all of you that are watching, you know, you could visit Red Nation FF. You could also visit Netflix. Whatever way, just go watch this film. And I hope it inspires you like it has inspired me, my board of directors, and so many others, and everyone on the film. Everyone on the film is like, you know, everyone is so wonderful. And I want to thank you for joining us today. And I know that I have some notes here, and I'm going to call you in a couple of days because I have some ideas that can help to move the film in different, you know, go different places that might bring interest to you. So
thank you.
And I'd like to say, you know, we are, there's a press release coming out tomorrow, right? And Red Nation, this is the first time we're announcing it. So we usually wait for our press release, and then you're doing a press release. But Kiss the Ground, we have tribute awards during our Red Nation Award ceremony. And one of the tribute awards is the Chief Dan George Award. And that award has been endorsed by the family. And we've been really blessed and honored to be able to have his name a part of Red Nation, you know. And so it's a humanitarian award. And so we are going to be giving that to both of you on November 29th, the Chief Dan George Award. So, yeah.
Thank you much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's really incredible.
We promise that we will use it to keep going.
He was an incredible environmentalist and humanitarian. So he was one of, you know, he was an amazing man, Chief Dan George. And he always had that twinkle in his eye. Every time on film, he had that twinkle.
That is a true honor. Thank you. You know, thank
Yes.
you for the Red Nation Film Festival. That is a deep honor. Very deep.
Yeah.
Yes, and to Chief Dan George's family, I know you said that they approved that, and that was also deeply meaningful to us. And we're excited.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Really excited.
Yeah. So November 29th, get your tickets because there's going to be a lot of announcements this week. Who, you know, is receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award and this award and that award and all of this. So
we can't wait.
I can't either. If I could get the script done. No, I'm just teasing. All right. Well, I want to thank you both and thank you for making this movie. And best to you on the nomination for Best Documentary. And
burning from how, what an honor it is. I've like literally my face.
Oh,
I'm all
I know.
So
you guys are very precious. So just keep making movies. That's all I'm saying. Just keep making movies.
All right. We were gonna quit after this, but okay.
Okay. Right.
Thank you, Janelle. Thank you very much. And thanks
And
to the Film Festival as well.
Yeah, and your incredible success. We are super honored to be a part of it this year. So thank you for doing this.
Okay. So, and give your kids a hug, and we'll see you. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Bye, Rebecca and Josh.
Bye, Janelle. Thank you. Bye, everyone.